What's up, everybody? It's Ty the Bourbon Guy, and welcome to the 25 Days of Whiskey. Today is day 9. Today, we are looking at Jack Daniel's single barrel strength Tennessee whiskey. I think I got it all in there. This one is one that's very interesting to me because years ago when I first got into whiskey and I started making content, I just knew that, you know, Jack and Coke, and that's pretty much the extent I knew about Jack. I knew about Gentleman Jack and, you know, that sort of thing. But I just knew that that really wasn't for me in the direction I was trying to go with my whiskey journey. I go to a particular bourbon event, and I came across a rep that from Jack Daniel's that was trying to get me to try other products. And I kind of, just kindly let him know that I don't know if Jack is for me. And at that point, he said, "Have you tried anything other than Old No. 7 or a Gentleman Jack or anything like that?" And I said, I didn't even know Jack Daniel's had other. I mean, I knew they had some other products, but I didn't realize that they even had some, the ryes. And so he pours a single barrel rye, the single barrel Tennessee whiskey, the single barrel proof whiskey, and just let me try all these different whiskeys. And each of these ones I tried, I thought I have to have a bottle of every one of them. I mean, I was surprised at the quality, and I was surprised at the flavors that this brings out. I just kind of wrote it off as I'm not a fan of Tennessee whiskey, and I realized later on that Old No. 7 is designed for a very specific reason, and there is a reason that this is the #1 selling whiskey in the world. But I also understand that Jack Daniel's makes very good whiskey overall. And what they do with that and at the different proof points, and when they're not trying to blend whiskeys together to get the taste profile of Old No. 7 or whatever the case is, if you pull out a single barrel of that, especially at barrel strength, amazing whiskey, very, very good. And it's kind of one of these things that I'm glad that they're starting to get the recognition they deserve. They had a few of the heritage, that the ryes now are just, it seems like everybody's talking about them. They came out with the bonded, they came out with the triple mash, now they have the bonded rye. They're doing so many things and continuing, and now even dipping their toes in American single malts. But they're doing so many things to stay relevant and be unique and still remind everybody that they're on top of the whiskey game when it comes to Tennessee whiskey and American whiskey, and really whiskey around the world. Some people around the world maybe don't even know bourbon or don't know anything about American whiskey. But if you say Jack Daniel's, they typically know that name. So that brand kind of just carries globally, and there's a reason for it. With all that being said, let's try it. Let's see what it's about. So this particular one is 130.5 proof, and it's a little guy. I have a few others, but here in Indiana, there was a few stores that could only get the little ones for a little bit. This happens to be the one that I have open, so we're rolling with it. Nothing wrong with the whiskey on the inside. So I would say it's 130.5 proof, and it drinks every bit of 130.5 proof. This is one that I've heard a few people recommend to beginners, and it kind of blows my mind. I don't really think that somebody getting into whiskey, that if they have an 80 or 90 proof whiskey, that probably will feel very hot to them, and that will start to kind of feel maybe not as approachable. To tell them now to go drink a whiskey that's in the 130 proof range, I don't know. I mean, I've been doing this for a little bit of time, and even me drinking this, it's still hot. It's still very hot. You just kind of learn to deal with the proof, and you learn to appreciate the flavors within there. But I would say if you're new to whiskey, maybe try the single barrels in general, especially if you can find a store pick. I think that those are even better in my opinion. But nothing wrong with the regular offering. I think, like I said earlier, now that they have the triple mash, they have the bonded, kind of like me at that point in my journey of just try anything else other than Old No. 7. I would encourage you to do the same if you're new to whiskey. If you are more experienced and maybe you've had this, go back to it again. It's fantastic. If you haven't had it, but you're kind of used to higher proof bourbons and whiskeys, then I would say go back to this as well. This is I think nobody's going to be mad at this. It just more is if you can handle the higher proof. If you know, anything over 100 is just a little bit too hot for you right now, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, try the regular single barrels in that case, or maybe the bonded, and you'll still be able to pick up a little bit more flavor, in my opinion, than Old Number 7. But plenty of people love Old Number 7. A lot of times it just, for me, depends on how you drink it and what your purpose is with that bottle, and maybe even what your budget is, what you're willing to spend on a bottle. So let's finish this off. Cheers. One question I get asked quite frequently: is Jack Daniel's a bourbon or not? Yes and no. Pretty much my answer to probably most whiskey questions: it depends. So I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been just a phenomenal experience. Thank you so much for being here. Day 9. We're going to keep rolling. Tomorrow's day 10, and I got something special planned for that as well. So tune in for that. Make sure you have the bell going and all the other stuff going, so you don't miss any of it, because I promise you this is must-see TV. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.